Food is the stuff of life of every living being. This is the reason why it is so important to know the quality, the origin and the production of what we eat, in order not to put our health at risk. The way we eat has changed over the centuries. From farmers, we became agricultural entrepreneurs, trying to reduce nature to any other industrial machine, from which we can benefit as quickly as possible. For thousands of years, humanity has eaten natural products without appropriating of the soil. Instead, today, we have the perception that our planet is just matter to be used and exploited in order to make the uncontrollable economic machine work. Ecosystems and natural resources are subjected to an incredible stress, caused by an inadequate economic model and an unbalanced growth. This economic policy led to the application of industrial processes to agriculture and stock breeding that reached their peak of production. This contributed to an increase in demography and wealth of the industrialized populations, provoking devastating effects on human and environmental health. However, the characteristics of agriculture, such as the period of harvest growth, the course of seasons, and the biological cycle of animals, prevent the agricultural system to compete with the industrial system in terms of efficiency and gain. Today, fields are fertilized with chemicals, insects are killed with toxic insecticides, plant species are genetically modified, and animals are bred in confined spaces and nourished with animal feed to which natural evolution did not prepare them. Biodiversity is constantly endangered by human actions that threaten its loss, even in those areas where it seems impossible. Today, the engine for growth is technological innovation, the exponential increase in consumption, in the economic performance, and in employment. The current economic policy tends to an unlimited economic growth, even though it is completely contradictory with reality. Because as opposed to the industrial production, which has not theoretical limits, arable soil is not renewable, nor is it inexhaustible. In fact, we already farm in landless greenhouses and breed animals that do not graze nor eat fodder. This is one of the reasons why global governments earmarked funds for the development of technologies which can improve the natural and seasonal factors of food, simulating some of the basic industrial characteristics. Today, the problem that the food business of developed countries must face is no longer the shortage of productivity, but chronic overproduction. These nations tackle an economic and political problem concerning the food demand of their own peoples. According to the laws of the global market, despite the fact that a country produces enough to feed its inhabitants, it is obligated to export certain kinds of food and to import others, even if it also means trading the same merchandise. This situation pushed countries to adopt more and more focused intervention policies. In fact, over the years, a mechanism of disposal concerning certain types of food has been developed. In addition to increasing the production incentives and the protectionism of industrialized countries' food systems, these processes developed and spread so much that they became an inalienable global characteristic. Just 50 years ago, the world started to dread that the production of food would not have been sufficient to feed everyone. It was expected that the global population would have doubled within a generation, and it was feared that famine would have killed thousands of people because of the Earth's incapability to keep up with food demand. However, this catastrophic hypothesis was not reflected in real life. There has been a tangible demographic growth, but food production was sufficient for everyone, thanks to the conception of new high-efficiency varieties of rice, corn, and wheat. New types of plants, the so-called hybrid species, have been introduced. They grow faster and in every season, enabling farmers to harvest foodstuffs all year round. In spite of these advantages linked to the increase in agricultural production, the revolution introduced during this period has also had negative effects, such as the massive use of chemicals, which is blamed for the severe environmental degradation. Moreover, it is a threat to the health of workers in the farming sector and consumers. Global water resources have also been affected. The new varieties of cultivations, in fact, are very efficient in terms of profit, but they need enormous quantities of water to grow. Today, about 70% of the total amount of water extracted by rivers and underground water reserves is used to irrigate roughly the 270 million hectares of cultivated fields, which produce, on the whole, a third of the global food needs. These changes in human way of thinking and acting represent the current break between nature and us. The problem of our civilization comes from our lack of respect for the other, that can be another person, an animal, or the planet that hosts us and of which we are part. The food business counts on consumers' superficialities and ignorance, because many people are satisfied when they eat without thinking. How can we buy seasonal products all the year round? How can a greenhouse product have the same nutritional qualities of a field product? If we respect the production cycles as it was originally, it will not be necessary to define as organic a type of natural food produced without chemicals. Organic food seems to be one of the few alternatives the consumers can choose, in addition to the local products and the food produced by industries which follow the philosophy of slow food that contrasts for its quality to the junk food of the fast food. Today, nature is put aside in favor of industries, food is manufactured, the earth is worn out, the environment is tainted, and those people that enrich to the detriment of resources that will be necessary to our posterities don't care the emergency. This is the most important paradox that our species must face. If the infinite economic growth is not the objective to which aim at, what should it be? Development. Developing means invest to reduce the use of natural resources and waste production, still maintaining prosperity. We must always remember that at the extremities of the food chain there are two biological systems, a field and a living being, and the health of the first inexorably linked to that of the second. Hurting nature means hurting ourselves, because we are part of it. Damaging part of this system means damaging the entire system. As inhabitants of a planet that feeds and loves us, we must think critically and sustain what we believe in. The standardization of food not only depends on an economic reason, it became one of the food dogmas of our age, because we think it can help humanity to reach happiness and satisfaction. In fact, Western men passed from the fear for the lack of food to that for an excess of food. These wrong beliefs must be overcome in order to bring significant changes to the present lifestyle and to the inefficient ecological policies. In order to change the situation, in order to respect and protect the earth from any kind of exploitation and cruelty, we have to become aware, conscientious and responsible consumers, developing a critical sense for the food, advertising and technological mechanisms that are becoming more and more important in our lives. Hope in a radical change is a utopia, but we wish to reach a level of awareness that enables people to change positively, to identify solutions and methodologies in order to make eco-friendly food and agricultural productions. This must be the aim of every country, government and individual. Thanks to initiatives like World Exposition Milan 2015, we can contribute to answer with concrete solutions to a question that cannot be longer postponed. How can we ensure safe and sufficient food for everyone in the respect of nature and the balanced and sustainable development? Our engagement in avoiding food excess, waste, and injustice is a noble start toward a better future.